Okay, so good evening, class. Today we will start with our next chapter, that is legality of objects and consideration, right? Legality of objects and consideration. So in this chapter, we will study that what are the objects that are considered unlawful. What are the objects, or what are the consideration that are considered unlawful in case of any contract. So we all know that if any thing is forbidden by law, if law doesn't allow something, and if we enter into the contract based on that object, then such contract will never be a valid contract. Such contract will become illegal contract, right? For example, in case of getting government jobs, getting any kind of public services, if you are giving money, if you are giving money to obtain a public service job or to obtain any government job, in that case government have strictly means law have strictly forbidden that you cannot gain or you cannot get a government job by giving money, right? মানে ঘুষ দিয়ে government job পাওয়া, that is forbidden by law. We cannot obtain a government job in illegal purpose, by illegal means, right? So forbidden by law, or something that defeats the provision of law. Similarly, this is also similar to that of forbidden by law, defeats the provision of law. Suppose law have given you the permission to open a liquor shop. Suppose you have get the license, okay, you have get the license to run a liquor shop, but with a condition, based on a condition that this liquor shop, the liquor shop that you have means for which you have gained the license, you cannot sell that liquor shop or transfer that liquor shop or lease that liquor shop. That was mentioned. On that basis, on that condition, license was given. But what you did, just after opening the liquor shop, after fulfilling to all the terms and conditions, after that you enter into a partnership. So it strictly defeats the provision of the law. You were given the license based on those conditions. Now you are what? You are just not following those conditions. In that case, it means what? It is defeating the provision of law, and here if anyhow government gets to know that, if anyhow it becomes flashed out, in that case what will happen? Your license will get cancelled, right? So something that is forbidden by law, something that defeats the provision of the law, something that is fraudulent, that we have studied already, that anything that is fraudulent, if we enter into a contract based on any fraud, if you are entering into a contract to demean or to deceive someone, that is mens rea. Remember in the last chapter we did mens rea. If there is an intention to demean someone, to deceive someone, in that case the contract becomes illegal. Next, it becomes voidable, it is not legal. Next, injurious to person or property, means you are entering into a contract in order to damage someone's property, or in order to injure some person. In that case also the contract definitely is not legal, the object is not legal in that case, right? Legal in that case. So these are the only things that we will read in this chapter, that is the legality of objects and consideration. Which objects or which consideration will be considered as not legal, like something that is forbidden by law, something that defeats the provision of the law, something that is fraudulent, or something you are entering into a contract in order to injure some person or property, something that is immoral. Immoral means what? Something that is immoral. In a case study of Pierce versus Brooks, there was an example given. What happened? There was a person P who let a cab on hire to B, who was a prostitute. Now understand. Now P, what P did? P let a cab on hire to B, who was a prostitute. B was a prostitute and P gave a cab on hire. Now if somehow P couldn't recover this rent, if P couldn't recover the rent Okay, if P couldn't recover the rent of that cab which he or she gave on hire basis, then P cannot legally move, take any legal action. Why? Now you can say, why, ma'am? Why P cannot take any legal action? Because it's P's right to receive the rent, because he has let a cab on hire to B. But P knew that B was a prostitute. But in spite of knowing that B was a prostitute, and the card will be used for some immoral purpose. Here in India, prostitution is actually not moral, it's immoral. You all know that. In foreign countries it may be legal and everything, but here still prostitution is not something that is considered as legal, moral, or whatever it is. Yes, there are prostitutes, there are everything, fine, but it's not moral, it's not morally correct in India. In India we don't consider prostitute as a moral thing. So when P knew that he was giving the car to B, who was a prostitute, of course the car will not be used for any good purpose. That's so obvious. So if afterwards P cannot receive the rent, P cannot move legally, because it has already been given in law, right? So number one is what are the objects which are illegal? Number one is what? Something that is forbidden by law, that the law doesn't allow. Number two is what? Defeats the provision of the law. Number three is what? Injurious to person or property. Next is what? Something that is fraudulent in nature, something that is immoral. Last one is what? Something that is opposed to public policy, that is against the interest of the society. Against the interest of the society, something that is opposed to public policy, that is against the interest of the society. If you are entering into a contract that is against the interest of the society, then that object for which you are entering into the contract, that object will not be considered as legal. Clear? So here there are certain examples of contracts that are opposed to public policy, and you cannot enter into such contracts. Okay, you cannot enter into such contracts. First, number one is what? Trading with enemy. Trading with enemy. So trading with enemy is number one. Now what is trading with enemy? Now any country which is at war with India, and we cannot enter into any kind of transaction with such country because it's our enemy country, or any citizen of that country. So if we are entering into such contracts will not be considered as legal contracts, because it's already something that is legally mentioned, rules are given, right? Okay, next is what? Agreements for stifling prosecution. Agreements for stifling prosecution. Okay, now what happens? Just I'm giving you a story. Suppose there were two friends. Okay, ছোটবেলার দুই বন্ধু বড় হয়েছে, একজন পুলিশ হয়েছে, একজন চোর হয়েছে। তো এবার হঠাৎ করে চোর ধরা পড়েছে। এবার চোর যখন ধরা পড়েছে, যে পুলিশ ধরা পড়েছে দেখছে দুজনের বন্ধু, ছোটোবেলার বন্ধু, একজন পুলিশ হয়েছে, একজন চোর হয়েছে। তো চোর বলল, আমি আমার যেটা চুরি করেছি তার কিছুটা শেয়ার তোকে দিয়ে দেবো। পুলিশকে বলল, তুই আমাকে জাস্ট কোর্টে প্লেস করিস না, লিভ মি। So is it the power of that person, of that police officer, to leave the thief based on that money that the thief is offering? The police officer's power is what? Or what is the duty of the police officer? To place that thief in front of the court. So if the police officer is doing such act, or taking the place, the place where court needs to decide, but beforehand he is only deciding based on the money that has been offered to him, in that case this will be considered as stifling prosecution. This will be considered as what? Stifling prosecution. সো আমার তো রাইট ছিল না অ্যাজ আ পুলিশ অফিসার যে আমি চোরটাকে ছেড়ে দেবো, যতই আমার বন্ধু হোক। আমার আমার ডিউটি ছিল আমি একে কোর্টের সামনে প্লেস করব, বাট বেসড অন দ্য মানি দ্যাট হি ইজ অফারিং আমি এগ্রি করে গেলাম। সো দিস ইজ দ্য কেস অফ স্টিফলিং প্রসিকিউশন। So you are taking in hand, you are taking the law in hand from the hands of the judges. যেটা জাজের করা উচিত সেই লটা তুমি জাজের হাত থেকে কেড়ে নিয়ে নিচ্ছ। সো দিস অবজেক্ট, ইফ ইউ আর ডুইং সামথিং লাইক দিস, such agreements will be considered as illegal, opposed to public policy, agreements that are opposed to public policy. Is it clear? Number 3, agreement of maintenance, agreement of maintenance and champerty. Now, in case of maintenance, what happens? There are two terms, maintenance and champerty. In case of maintenance, what happens? Listen. Suppose there is A and suppose there is B. Now B is going through some legal action or legal procedure, but B is falling short of money. B এর কাছে টাকা নেই সেই লিগাল প্রসিজিওরটা ক্যারি আউট করার। সো নাও হোয়াট ইজ হ্যাপেনিং, এ ইজ আ ফ্রেন্ড অফ বি, এ বুঝতে পারছে যে বি এর টাকার দরকার লিগাল প্রসিজিওর কন্টিনিউ করার জন্য। এ ইজ হেল্পিং বি টু কন্টিনিউ দ্য লিগাল প্রসিজিওর, কিন্তু এখানে এর কোনো ইন্টারেস্ট লুকিয়ে নেই। Maintenance money in which a person promises to help another by money or otherwise to continue a legal action in which he himself is not interested. So law bole etao is opposed to public policy. Why? I don't understand this, why this law is given. In case of maintenance especially, this I don't have any explanation to give. I really don't understand why maintenance is considered as opposed to public policy. Someone is helping the other to continue a legal action, and here A has no interest in that legal action. Clear? So this is maintenance. Then what is champerty? Champerty is opposite. Suppose A is helping B for anything, suppose anything, not legal action only, A is helping B for anything, for recovering a property or whatever it is. In that case, A has some interest in that. Suppose B এর একটা প্রপার্টি রয়েছে, সেই প্রপার্টিটা রিকভার করতে হবে। নাও A বলছে ঠিক আছে, I will help you in recovering that property, I will give the money, but after you recover the property, you have to give a share of that property to me. So in this case, there is a involvement of the interest of A, and that's why A is helping. But in maintenance, A is helping B without any interest. So these agreements are also considered as agreements opposed to public policy. Here in this case I understand, but here I don't know why. So these are given by law. Okay, next, number 4, agreements in restraint of marriage. If you are trying to stop a marriage, a legal marriage, if you are trying to stop a legal marriage, means two major person are marrying and you are trying to restrict a legal marriage, then any agreement in order to restrict a legal marriage is opposed to public policy, is against the society's interest. So first one was what? Trading with enemy. Second one was what? Agreements for stifling prosecution, means you are taking the power of the judge in your hand. Number 3 was what? Agreement of maintenance and champerty. Number 4, agreements in restraint of marriage. So you are trying to restrict a legal marriage. Okay. Now number 5, sorry. Number 5 is what? Agreements creating interest opposed to duty. Okay, now have you seen the ad of there was a Pakistani army and there was an Indian army. They were standing in the borders for the protection, and and the army asked, India mein kya chal raha hai? And there was an ad, the fog chal raha hai. Very popular ad. So now suppose it's the duty of the Indian army to protect the interest, protect all the official information to everything that will save India, and not to disclose those material facts to some Pakistani army. So it's the duty of Indian army. Similarly, it's the duty of the Pakistani army to protect all the official information of their country, to safeguard their country. That is their duty. Now, if you're doing something, entering into an agreement that is opposing your duty, you are leaking certain information that is opposing, that is against your duty, then such agreements are also opposed to public policy. Of course, it is against the society's interest. It's very clear it's against the society's interest, right? Suppose you are the CEO of the company, and you are leaking the company's information, your company's information, to your competitor company. So you are doing some duty, you are entering into agreement that is against your duty, that goes against the interest of your duty. You have been given the post of a chief executive officer, and you are leaking information of that company to your competitor company based on some agreement, based on some money. Then such agreements are also opposed to public policy. Clear? Number 6, traffic in public offices. That is what? Ghoosh diye government job power. Ghoosh diye government job power. Not allowed. Not allowed. Number 7, agreements restricting personal liberty. Agreements restricting personal liberty. Suppose you have taken loan from someone. You have taken loan from your friend, and you promised your friend that you will not go out of the country, you will not sell any of your property, you will serve your friend until and unless you could pay the loan amount. But these conditions are restricting your personal liberty. If your friend wanted to give loan, then your friend cannot restrict the personal liberty that you are having. Yes, of course, after a time, if you cannot repay, your friend can take a legal action, but your friend cannot restrict the personal liberty. So agreements that will restrict personal liberty, a person's liberty to do things, such agreements will be considered as opposed to public policy. Is it clear? Next, number 8, agreements in restraint of legal proceedings. Agreements in restraint of legal proceedings. If any agreement is restricting any legal proceedings, you are entering into an agreement to stop a legal proceedings, such agreements are opposed to public policy. Agreements in restraint of parental rights. Number 9, parental rights. If a child is not having his or her father, in that case the right goes to the mother. Now the mother cannot just blindly say no to that right. It's the right. It's the right of it's the duty of the mother to take care of the child. Or suppose both the parents are leaving, but both the parents wants to transfer the right of the minor child, of their minor child, to some guardian. But when both the parents are leaving and well-to-do, belongs to a well-to-do family, why they are giving up their parental rights? So any agreement which is restricting your parental rights, such agreements are void. It's not legal. You cannot just say that no, they are not, the child is not my responsibility. You cannot just say that. Number 10, agreements in restraint of trade. If you're doing something trade, and that trade is legal trade, then agreements against those trade. If you are entering into a trade, if you're doing any business which is and you have fulfilled all the rules, regulation that a business needs, so you have fulfilled everything, and any person is entering into an agreement to stop that business of yours, that agreement will be considered as something opposed to public policy, and that will not be considered as legal. correct? But there are also certain rules that are exception to this restraint of trade. Because suppose you're selling the goodwill of your company, the exceptions are what? Suppose you're selling the goodwill of your company. Now once you sell the goodwill of your company, it means you're giving the right to use the name to that person. Afterwards you cannot again use that name because you have obtained a lump sum amount of money to sell the goodwill. পরে আবার তুমি গুডউইলটা বিক্রি করে দিয়ে পরে আবার তুমি সেই গুডউইলটা ইউজ করছো, দেন in that case, no matter how legally you are using that goodwill, how legal business you are carrying out, it will be considered as illegal only because you have already sold it. Now you cannot use it, right? Next, in case of partnership agreements, it might so happen that the partners have entered into an agreement with the condition that if any partner leaves that agreement, if any partner leaves that farm, then such partner cannot open a farm similar to that in which he or she was in partnership. And after that also, that partner opened something that is similar to the farm, that partnership, similar to the partnership farm in which he or she was in. In that case, it will be considered as illegal, no matter how much legally you have opened, because you have already signed a contract that I will not open. আমি সিমিলার কোনো কিছু ব্যবসা করব না, similar to the ব্যবসা of that partnership fund. Or in case of trade combination, now this is a very good example, means I don't want to give it because it's like against anything, but trade combination means what? You are entering into some kind of contract that will help you to give a monopoly business which is against the public interest. CESC কত বিল আসে ইলেকট্রিক বিল এখন? enjoying monopoly business still. But this is not correct. Jio, what happened? Tata Docomo, and another line was what? নামটা ভুলে যাচ্ছি। টাটা ডোকোমো, এয়ারসেল, এই কোম্পানি, এত বড় বড় টেলিকম কোম্পানিগুলো কী হলো? বন্ধ হয়ে গেল যখন জিও এলো। বাট দিস কাইন্ড অফ বিজনেস ক্রিয়েটিং আ টোটাল মোনোপলি, and that is closing the other business, these are not actually, as per the Competition Act, these are not actually valid. কেন করতে পারলো? because there was help, তাই জন্যই না পসিবল হলো। and now see জিওর কত রেটস বাড়ছে, এখন সবার কাছে জিও, কেউ ফেলতেও পারছে না, এখন অত টাকা দিয়ে রিচার্জ করতে হচ্ছে। সো দিস ট্রেড কম্বিনেশন which are creating pressure, which are creating a monopoly, such trade combination are considered as against public interest. And of course they're against public interest. We are suffering so much, people are not having money to eat, and how they will do recharge, and they will give education to their child, because now everything is online and the rates are like, what to say, clear? So these are, and another one is service contract. Now what is service contract? Suppose you entered into some service, and before entering you have to sign a contract. In that you have written that you will, after you leave, you cannot start similar thing, or you cannot provide the similar service as you are doing now. So after retirement, if you do the same thing, then it will be considered illegal, no matter how much legally you are providing the service, because before entering the service contract you have given your consent. That's why আমি বলে ঢুকেছিলাম যে আমি এই কাজ আমি করবো না যদি আমি ছেড়ে চলে যাই, কিন্তু ছেড়ে চলে যাওয়ার পর আমি সেম কাজ করছি ইন লিগাল ওয়ে, কোনো ইলিগাল নয়, লিগাল ওয়েতে করছি, বাট স্টিল ইট উইল বি কনসিডার্ড অ্যাজ অপোজ টু পাবলিক ইন্টারেস্ট, বিকজ ইউ হ্যাভ গিভেন দি কনসেন্ট, রাইট? সো দিজ আর দ্য কন্ট্রাক্টস, or these are the objects that lacks the legality. Okay, and these 10 types of agreements that we studied, these are the 10 types of agreements that are opposed to public policy. Clear? So we complete the chapter legality of objects and consideration. Now coming to the next chapter that I will complete today only, and because this chapter is a small chapter and we have studied this already earlier, what are void agreements And what are voidable agreements? Now the basic difference that I want to say first only at the beginning of this only is that what are void contract or voidable contract? Void contracts are not valid contracts, something that is empty and null. Void contracts are not valid contracts, something that is empty and null. But voidable is valid, but due to certain circumstances it might become invalid, right? Voidable মানে কি আমি set aside করতে পারি, it was valid at the beginning but due to some change in the circumstances the contract becomes invalid. But void is from the very beginning, it's not valid contract. From the signing of the contract it's not valid. Okay, now you all know what are the examples, all the examples of the contract that are void. Voidable তো আমরা পড়েছি, যেমন ফ্রড, কন্ট্রাক্টস বেসড অন কোঅর্শন, আনডিউ ইনফ্লুয়েন্স। এবার ভয়েড কন্ট্রাক্টস কোনগুলো? ভয়েড কন্ট্রাক্টস এনি এগ্রিমেন্টস মেড বাই ইনকম্পিটেন্ট পার্টিস। আমি যদি মাইনরের সঙ্গে কোনো এগ্রিমেন্ট করি বা পার্টিস দেওয়ার, দোজ আর ইনকম্পিটেন্ট, লাইক ড্রাঙ্কেন পারসন or something who is a person who is a lunatic, insolvent person, alien enemy, means parties who are not competent to enter into a contract, then those contracts will be void contract. In case of mistake, we have talked about mistake, that only in case of mistake the contract becomes void, whether it's unilateral mistake or bilateral mistake. In any agreement, if the consideration is or the object is unlawful, in that case the contract becomes void. Consideration of or if the object is only unlawful, right? Again, agreements without consideration is also void. Agreement without consideration is void. We have studied in that consideration chapter that agreement without consideration is void, but there are certain exceptions to that agreement. We have also talked about those exceptions. Section 25, remember? Agreement in restraint of marriage of major person. Just now we studied that if we are trying to make an agreement to restrain the marriage of two major persons, that such agreements will be void. Agreements whose terms are uncertain, the object is uncertain, in that case also the agreement becomes void. Okay, now betting and gambling agreement. If you are entering into an agreement for betting purpose, for gambling purpose, then those are void agreements. Okay, those are void. Gamble করার জন্য gambling, okay, but betting, those are void agreements. Agreement in restraint of trade, এক্ষুনি পড়লাম, if you are entering into an agreement in order to restrict someone's legal business, such agreement is also void. Agreement in restraint of legal proceedings, void agreement. এক্ষুনি এগুলোই পড়লাম, তাই জন্য বলেছিলাম এই দুটো চ্যাপ্টার একসাথে করবো। Agreement contingent upon the happening of an impossible event. Now what is such agreement? Suppose I am promising you that I will pay you rupees 2 lakhs. I will pay you rupees 2 lakhs if a ship, suppose if a ship returns within 1 year. So the event based on which I will pay you is only uncertain. শিপটা 1 বছর পর ফেরত আসবে কি আসবে না সেটা কেউ জানে না। So এরকম এগ্রিমেন্ট দ্যাট ইজ বেসড আপন দ্য হ্যাপেনিং অফ অ্যান ইম্পসিবল ইভেন্ট, আদৌ হবে কিনা আমরা কেউ জানি না, আনসার্টেন ইভেন্ট, ইন দ্যাট কেস such agreements are also void. Or agreements to do some things that is impossible. এই যে মনে আছে বলেছিলাম I will pay you this much if you bring stars from the sky. So it's impossible. Or if you make a dead person alive, those agreements are void agreements. Is it clear? And voidable, we have studied in the last class only. Voidable, we have completed that chapter in the last class. So void agreements আমরা জানতাম যে কোনগুলো হয়। Without consideration, the object is uncertain, the consideration is unlawful, an agreement to restrict legal proceedings, to restrict business, to restrict marriage. So these are void agreements. Betting, gambling agreements are void agreements. Void agreements is invalid from the beginning, whereas voidable agreements is valid but becomes invalid due to the change in any circumstances. Just remember this. So this completes my 2 chapters. One is legality of objects and consideration, and the other one is void and voidable agreements. Void and voidable agreements. Okay, in case of legality, that is legality of objects, and that you have to which section we talked about? We talked about section 23. The section 23 states that what are the conditions or what are the consideration objects for which the agreement will not be considered lawful. That is section 23. We talked about section 23 here. Right? Okay, so thank you class. In the next class we will start with a new chapter. Thank you.